Hey, y'all, welcome back to the Late Night Vision Show. This is episode 36, and as always, I've got my good buddy Hans with me. My name is Jason. I'm the owner of Outdoor Legacy. And Hans, what's going on tonight?
Man, just keeping on, trying to do my thing without getting in trouble, trying to stay under the radar as much as I can, but you know what? It doesn't always work out.
Whose radar? Let me ask that. Whose radar are you trying to dodge? I need to know that.
There's too many people that I could count in that list to stay off people's radar. So, no, actually,
I imagine one of them. I imagine one of them's name's Crystal and is on the same property as you are right now.
Exactly right. Well, I'll tell you, last weekend did some guided hunts with some guys from all over the north, Montana, Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota. Minnesota, and had some guys come down and went out hunting with me and a buddy Tucker, and we were able to put them on hogs. We put them on coyote, and they had a good time. First time they've ever looked through thermal. Anytime, the first time they've looked through any type of night vision or thermal, and they had a great time. First time killing hogs. They got plenty of coyotes up there. But they had a great time, and really, I get just as much enjoyment as taking people out for the first time hunting and give them a chance to shoot a hog for the first time, just as much as I get enjoyment out of getting out there and doing it myself. So we had a great time, and want to say hi to all them guys. They watch the show now and they listen, and want to say hey to all the guys up there, and hope y'all get down soon to come out, do some more hunting with us.
Well, now I want to be clear because I can already see the phones are lighting up and the emails are pouring in. You were actually hired on as a guide, asked by somebody to do some guiding. You weren't actually out just guiding people for HansETX, Texas, right?
Yeah, I have a lot of people ask if I do guided hunts, and I really hadn't gotten into it. Really, just between all the things that Jason, you and I do with the shows and YouTube and everything, really don't have a lot of time to do it. Really was helping out a friend in town, owns a business, wanted to take some customers out, and they asked me to help out. And these are family friends that we've known forever, and I definitely wanted to help them out. So really it was more about just being able to show their customers and their people a good time. So here in the future, I might get into more guiding as more free time opens up, but I don't see that coming anytime soon. But I'm not opposed to doing it every now and then. So I mean, if somebody's interested, they can holler at me.
I was gonna say, man, tell me more about this free time. Where do you get this? I'm interested. Yeah,
this thing has been planned for 6 months now, and
it has. Yeah, I'd heard you talking about it, and I'd actually forgot about it. It had been so long.
And so as the time was coming closer and closer, we kept getting busier and busier. So I committed, and I wasn't going to let anybody down. But it was we stayed out 3 nights, and we hunted all night long, and we saw a bunch of hogs. Got on a bunch of hogs. Guys were good shots and put them down. So we had a good time. We had a really good time.
That's great. Very good. Well, folks, we want to thank y'all for tuning in again. As we said, this is episode 36 of the Late Night Vision Show. And we want to tell you where to find us if this is your first time tuning in. If you listen every week, you probably already know what we're going to say, but I'll make it quick. It won't take long. You can always find the Late Night Vision Show on any of the major podcast apps. You can also find us on YouTube. A lot of people are watching the podcast there, maybe playing it while they're at work or while they're doing something else. So you can always go there, and you can get to see Hans and I's smiling mugs on there every week if you really are a glutton for punishment. But you can find us YouTube. You can find the Late Night Vision Show on Facebook. You can find Outdoor Legacy gear while you're there as well. And if you go on over there to Instagram, you can find all three. HansETX, that's HansETX, Outdoor Legacy Gear, and the Late Night Vision Show. And back on YouTube, that is the most important place, not only for really probably the Late Night Vision Show right now, but also for Hans. That is how he is known. He's got a huge channel over there. Go check him out and subscribe. It is HansETX. That's where you're going to find all the latest scope reviews. It's where you're going to find lots of great hog hunting videos And while you're there, just mosey on over and subscribe to Outdoor Legacy Gear as well. So basically, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, that's where we're at.
I appreciate you saying I'm huge. I'm not quite huge, but
I've heard you're huge in Japan. I don't know. There's a lot of people, maybe Korea. I don't know, but
you know, a lot of people
know who you are.
Some people in the southern part of Van Zandt County know who I am. But
and that may not be for good reasons. It has nothing to do with hog hunting.
Exactly. But yeah, you know, last week I put out the 50 best my 50 best hog hunts of 2018. This week I'm doing the full Trijicon review. So I know some of you you know, tuned in last week where we did the Trijicon review right here, the REAP-IR on the podcast. I'm going to be showing videos. I've got a lot of videos of different yardages. I've got coyotes out to 600 yards shown with the Trijicon REAP-IR. So I'm going to be doing my full review, showing the videos, and that's going to be coming out this weekend. So tune in for that because there's a lot of people asking. They want to see more and more video on that.
You know, one more thing I want to mention about that is that we appreciate all the feedback that we get from y'all. We're getting a lot of emails. We get a lot of comments on the YouTube videos. We do our best to reply as we can. This is an extremely busy time of year, but we are trying to reply when we can. We've been getting a lot of show suggestions, and we appreciate those. And I know some of y'all are thinking, I send them all the time, and y'all never do anything with it. But it's not true. Yeah. Hans has a little black book, and he keeps in this top secret book. It's a notepad. He keeps in this top secret notepad all these show suggestions, and we dig through them and we try to come up with things. There's times that we say, hey, we need a short segment, where we need a whole show, whatever it is, and we look through and kind of see if we think it'll fit into what we're doing that week. And so we really do appreciate them. You can email us at thelatenightvisionshow @gmail.com. You can also give us a phone call. It's 903-833-4461, and that is a voicemail line. No one will answer the phone. It goes straight to voicemail. You can leave a message there and give us feedback. You can give us, show suggestions, what have you. And you can also text that number. We're not going to answer, we're not going to be able to just like text back and forth with you, but it will accept pictures. So if you want to send us pictures of your hogs, you can do that. You can email us hog videos, hog pictures, send them to us on Facebook, Instagram, and sometimes we'll post some of those things up on social media. So anyway, that's where you find us. But look, we've got a lot to talk about this week. We've got several little things we want to talk about in the first part of the show, just kind of tidbits and updates of what's going on, pieces of news, and then we've got a segment we'll talk to you in the second half of the show about. But first thing that we want to mention is that we are 2 weeks away from SHOT Show, and by the time that this podcast is released on Thursday, it will actually be less than 2 weeks. It will be about a week and a half. The show starts on Tuesday. I don't even know the date. What is that? The 22nd, 4th, 22nd? Yep. Yeah, 22nd. All right, 22nd of this month. You're going to hear a lot more about it. I think next week, if all goes as planned, we're going to really talk more about the SHOT Show, what the SHOT Show is, kind of what you can expect. And I'm just going to give you fair warning. There's going to be a lot of SHOT Show talk in the next month or so. But it's coming up soon, and I know that Hans and I are both excited about heading out there. Yeah, and that's one of the things. People want to know what's coming out. They want to know all the new cool and stuff, gadgets that are coming out through night vision and through thermal. I did get an update from a gentleman at Pulsar that actually commented to one of our videos. We can confirm on the show that the new Pulsar thermions will not control a drone this year, so that has been confirmed. That's fake news. That's fake news. I don't believe that. Yeah. I do not believe that. It was actually confirmed by a very important person at Pulsar today that commented on the YouTube video. It is not true, folks. It is fake news. Drone control in the Pulsar thermions. I'm telling you, it's going to be there. You can. Jason is trying to start this wildfire rumor, but I am. I want this to go out on the Facebook groups and some of these hunting forums that there's, I guarantee you, if the right person hears this, they're gonna run with it, and there'll be rumors that the new Pulsar thermal scopes next year or this year are gonna control drones. I'm telling you, it's I want this to go. It's fake news. It's gonna happen,
Well,
folks.
how
Don't
about
believe
this?
what the Pulsar reps say.
Exactly.
Can't ever believe them.
Exactly. So Jason and I we will confirm that for ourselves in a couple weeks at the
That's
SHOT
right.
Show if it will control
That's
a
right.
drone.
I might have to eat a little crow, but we'll see. For right now, I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, so
I'm sticking.
Yeah, so the next couple of weeks, maybe next few weeks, probably are going to be very heavily related to the SHOT Show. What we see, anything new, any improvements, any new advancements in technology. I know that a lot of you out there are wanting to know all the new stuff, and some people are kind of hanging out, waiting to see what's going to happen. So we're going to be out there. We're going to talk to a lot of people. We're going to be doing. I'm committing that we're doing a podcast from out there. Jason loves it when I commit on the fly without.
And anybody who's watching this on YouTube is seeing me shaking my head no, going, "There's no way."
Yeah, exactly.
No way.
But we're going to be doing the SHOT Show, and one of the things I want to talk about real quick is that we're going to be kind of taking a look at, and we're going to be taking a look at it here on the show as well as doing some videos on it as well. It's the Psionics Aurora, and I actually got one right here in my hand. There's been a lot of there's kind of been a buzz out there, Jason, about this little unit, this little night vision unit. There's a lot of videos, a lot of pictures coming out, a lot of questions, and we did a podcast video a while back about the best night vision handhelds under $1,000, and this was not included in that. That really, it's really been kind of new here very shortly. But this goes into that category, and we're going to touch base on it here coming up on some future shows to get a better idea of its capabilities and kind of wade through some of the facts and speculations as far as what you may see and what you may hear. And I think it's important to do.
Yeah, I'm excited about this thing. Hans has this right now. I have not actually touched one yet. I know that Hans had been on a hunt and used one with a buddy of his, one of our friends of the show. And then, ended up getting his hands on it. Psionics reached out to us. I talked to him a couple of weeks ago. I guess it was before Christmas. And so anyway, here's the deal. I've never touched one. I mean, I don't know anything about it. I do know what I've seen on Instagram, on YouTube, and I've seen some video out of this thing that is unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, it looks crazy good, and it almost seems hard to believe. And then I've heard, just straight up the middle reviews of, hey, it's pretty good. It's not bad. It'll do this, do that. And then I've seen some recent reviews, some YouTube reviews that, man, it did not look good. And then I see the comments from people that have used them saying, that wasn't a fair review. You didn't have it in the right mode. I don't know. I've never even touched one of these things. So Hans and I just decided, you know what? We need to get our hands on one. We need to look at it for ourselves and report to y'all our honest opinion of good, bad, indifferent, up the middle, whatever. Hans has got it. He's going to play with it, and I'll get my hands, and then we'll talk about it on the show.
I've done some initial testing with it. Not anything really hardcore hunting out in the field with it yet, but I've been outside and in the woods a little bit. I'm going to say this: it's definitely worth taking a closer look at, and it's worth taking and talking about because there's some good features in here. There's a lot of good things to talk about. There's some things that need to be taken a closer look at, but it's definitely worth checking out. So we will be doing that coming up in a future podcast episode.
Good deal. Well, I'm excited to get my hands on it in a few weeks. So
not happening, buddy. Not happening.
I need something new. I need to get my hands on something. But, I tell you what, this is one thing we need to mention is just really what the current, this isn't like a formal current state of affairs for the night vision and thermal industry. But right now, I'm going to tell you, folks, things are crazy. We had a huge, and I say we, I mean, Outdoor Legacy is included in this, but just the industry in general of night vision and thermal had a huge 2018. It was a great year. The industry really grew. It seems like there's a lot of things kind of settling down as a lot of companies are kind of getting in their groove and doing what they do good. And there's been some power plays and some shifts in kind of who's controlling what. It's been really fun, been interesting, and it was a great year. But right now things are nuts, and really what we're experiencing right now is what I almost expected inventory wise in November, December. And it didn't happen. I mean, it was really busy, but the manufacturers were really doing a pretty good job of keeping us in inventory. But right now, generally speaking, this industry is in an inventory crunch. And I know my phone is blowing up, and a lot of the questions are, do you have this? Yeah. Do you have this in stock? And I know that sometimes I'm the first phone call and sometimes I'm the 25th phone call. And I understand that. And so it's funny. Today I had 3 phone calls, and this is how it started. Hey, I wanted to talk to you and ask you if you've got a particular thermal scope in stock. And my answer, without missing a beat, is short answer, probably not, but go ahead and, ask. I mean, it's just like probably not. And so that's where we're at right now. And it's not just me. I mean, I've looked out there. I've had a couple deals where there were some guys that were good customers, and I'm really they're in a bind trying to get something, and I'm like, hey, let me just see what I can do. Right. Let me go to some other dealers I know. Let me dig around, and it's like nobody's got anything. Yeah. And so only point I'm making is it's a good thing for the industry. I mean, everything is selling right now. We're in the busy season, but inventory is just slow. The shipments have really slowed down. The holidays kind of get everything messed up, and we're hoping to see some more stuff free up. But one more thing I would say on that, and it always seems like January is tough because the manufacturers are behind from that December rush, and then I'm not saying that this really affects the manufacturing, but it always seems like the SHOT Show and that whole week, everybody, the manufacturers, on the U.S. side that are actually distributing the product, they're in limbo getting ready for the show. Then the week of the show, they've got everybody out there. Right. And so, I don't know, I guess it's just hard to get inventory out this month.
Well,
and so
I expected there to be a rush during the holidays and before the holidays, with Christmas and all that coming up, and people just kind of wanting to get something for themselves or for a loved one or a partner. But I kind of expected after the New Year with, a few weeks, there'd be a little bit of a lull, just kind of, people getting back to work and get back in the swing of things. But man, since the first of the year, since January 2nd, it's been unbelievably crazy with phone calls.
Since January 1st, I worked. Yeah. I shouldn't even tell this because people will call. I worked all day New Year's Eve and all day New Year's Day. No intentions of it. The phone was absolutely blowing up, and I knew that if I didn't answer it, then I was going to be just dead on January 2nd. There's just no way to catch up, and so I worked all those days. It is nuts right now.
Yeah. But I do.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, but I do want to remind everybody about the Pulsar Apexes. They are being discontinued by Pulsar, and they are gone. It's almost.
I have my hat over my heart right now. I'm extremely still sad about this.
If you can find one somewhere, then you might as well go buy a lottery ticket right now because. And if anybody wonders what we're talking about, the Apexes, these are the Pulsar Apex line of scopes. People generally know them as the ones without the bells and the whistles, without the internal video recording and that type of thing. And those have been discontinued. Most every place that you call to try to find one, they're out of stock.
Not most.
Every.
I'll tell you this: if there is a dealer out there that has these, he's living under a rock. Yeah. I mean, they do not exist right now. They're gone. I had somebody that was in a bind, and they were hunting one of these, and I was trying to help them. We went to eBay. there was one on eBay, and it was some sort of a Russian scam. I mean, I looked at the deal. It was so shady. It wasn't in the, it was just a scam. They don't exist.
Yeah.
They are gone.
It is
So
it is a
great
leprechaun.
scope.
Don't chase the leprechaun because you will not
No.
find it. There's no
It
pot
is,
of gold.
and it's sad. They were great scopes, and if people are probably wondering why are everybody, running out there after a discontinued unit. Just simply because it's a great price. I mean, the Apex there's two models. They're 2500, 2800, and right now the market's really wide open in our opinion between the RX. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's not true. The FLIR PTS 233, it's $2,200.
Yeah.
Between that and the Pulsar Apex XQ38, it's $3,300. So 22 to 33, there is no quality, dependable thermal rifle scope on the market between those two numbers.
Right.
That's FLIR doesn't have it, Pulsar doesn't have it. Trijicon obviously doesn't have anything that cheap, and so we just don't believe there's anything in there that we can recommend buying between those two. So
Right.
I cannot wait. Going back to when I'm talking about SHOT Show again, can't wait to see what Pulsar ends up doing. I do have, I absolutely believe that they're gonna put something back into that spot, but it is going to be many months probably before we actually have those on the market.
I'm anticipating them pulling a rabbit out of a hat or pulling a card out of a sleeve. I do.
I'm ready.
Yeah,
I hope they pull it out. I hope they pull it out the week after SHOT and start shipping them because I'm ready.
Yeah, exactly.
Well. Okay, so folks, one more thing we want to talk about, and we'll wrap up this kind of a, like I said, mishmash of mix. I don't know how you say it. A bunch of news. We put it in here and stirred it up in a big pot. We've had some feedback. It's been very positive on last week's show. That was the review of the Type 1 Trijicon REAP-IR. That's a 35 millimeter, 2.5 power. So the feedback I've gotten has been very good. There are some people that have mentioned that, hey man, y'all were pretty tough on that. They didn't disagree, but they're like, gosh. And I'll be honest, Hans and I both, we listened back to the show. We don't always do that because, we don't want to hear ourselves talk anyway, but we both listened to the whole show. And I think we were very fair. We did, make it clear why we were being hard on the scope. And I'm going to just mention it again for the Trijicon users out there and the people that are considering it. Yes, we think it's a great scope. I think it is worthy of the price point. If you have those, you have that kind of budget and you demand the best image quality. There are some other nice features the housing, the size, the weight, it's a great scope. But yes, we were hard on it. And somebody even said that, Pulsar must be paying us because we're too easy on them. And I was like, oh, give me a break. Look, it's $8,000. Yeah. It is the second most expensive thermal rifle scope on the consumer market. And when Trijicon, they set that price, they set themselves so far above everything else out there, we have to be hard on them. We know you can't. That's just the way it is. If they're going to do that, we've got to go in and nitpick a little bit and say, okay, but this could be improved and this could be improved and this can be improved. It's harder to do that when you're talking about a $2,200 scope.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And we led off the show, and I'm going to lead off my review in the same way that Trijicon, the REAP-IR, the ones we test, Trijicon as a company, have the best thermal image scope picture on the market. It doesn't get any better, and definitely making that clear. There's no doubt about it. But there's the doors open for, and not just Pulsar. The doors open for FLIR. The doors open for Envision. There's doors open that some of these night vision thermal companies can kind of close that gap and continue to make a great product, add on features that consumers want, and catch up to them. So, the Trijicon again, we love it. And there's some things on it that that some of the other companies are getting a little bit better at.
Yeah, and again, I think it's just showing the age of these units. I'm definitely not telling anybody not to go buy one. We think Trijicon is a super company. I'm glad that they are in. Trijicon obviously does a lot of other daytime optics, but we're glad to have them in the thermal industry. They have some of the best customer service out there, and they make a quality product.
Yep, they absolutely do.
We're just
Yeah,
we just
I'm glad
calling
you.
the way we see them on some of the issues. Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that. They do have great customer service, and I did hear a story about a guy that sent back a Trijicon thermal scope to be worked on, and they noticed that it didn't have the brand new mount that they're sending out with them. So they went ahead and put the brand new, quick detach mount on it for them. Just from doing some repairs, and went ahead and threw that in and threw it in a box and sent it back to him, and awesome customer service. Top notch.
You can't. Well, and Hans and I are big on customer service. That's a big deal to both of us, and I know it is to people who are spending their hard-earned money. But okay, we're not going to talk about Trijicon this week. We're going to change gears, and we're going to get into the second half of the show. And what we're going to talk about is an area where Hans is an expert.
Oh gosh,
and he would say he would say he's not an expert. How about this? He's the resident expert. Okay,
okay, I'll take that.
Out of the both of us, Hans is the expert here, and that's we're going to talk about. Not so much about creating content for social media, YouTube, Facebook, but actually, what do you do with the content once you've recorded it? Right. Now, we want to just say right out from the front, I know that there are a lot of guys that listen to this show that, number one, they have a scope that does not record. Maybe okay, let's back up. Maybe they don't even own night vision or thermal scope yet. Okay, so there's those guys. There's the guys that own them and their scopes don't record. There's the guys who own them and their scopes do record and they think it's dumb. So I know this is not going to interest everyone, but we've had over the last year of doing the show, we've had a lot of questions. I know Hans gets questions about it directly. We had an email to the Late Night Vision Show, actually a Facebook message from one of my customers, Ed, and he was like, "Hey, help me here. What am I? I'm trying to upload this stuff. It's not looking good." And he said, "Hey, mention this on the show sometime." So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about in generalities of what to do with the content, and this is going to basically be if you've got a Sightmark Photon RT that does recording, a Pulsar Trail, a FLIR, one of like PTS 233s, 536, 736. Also, I think maybe slightly different but close. It will also include anything that takes, doesn't have video recording but uses like an MDVR that you record to the SD card. I mean, it's going to account for that. So if you're interested and want, any kind of tips or tricks from Hans on what to do, this is the segment for you. So after that long introduction and disclaimers, take it away, Hans.
I've already forgot what I was going to talk about. Thank you, Jason. You're exactly right. This segment isn't necessarily about how to create content for YouTube or for social media. It's more about guys and this is a regular question. One of the most asked questions that I get is, how do I just get my videos off of my scope and get it to where I can share it with my buddies? And that's really what we want to help people out do. And this is a very basic thing for people that are recording videos and out there hunting with them. So Jason said, this goes for anybody that's got a FLIR PTS model, anybody using an MDVR or anybody using the Pulsar. Now the Pulsar, you have the option of using the Stream Vision app to download
and the Photon.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so you can download the videos to the app, and you can view those videos through the app. The only thing is with that, you cannot easily share those videos from the app. You can't just text it. It doesn't download necessarily. And what we're talking about specifically more is we both use iPhones. So this is more towards as far as sharing with iPhones. Android, it might be a little bit different, but I don't think so because I know guys that have the Androids, they can't just text it or email it either. But if anybody knows anything different, you can definitely comment and let us know. But so through the app, you cannot just simply download that to your photos and share that with your buddies. Also on the iOS phone, the Apple phones, you don't hear audio when you download those videos through the app to your phone. So that's something to know. What I found the best thing to do, really to show quick videos of a hunt. If you're downloading through the app, you can just put it on there and look real quick. But really the best thing that I've done and what I do is just download the videos from the scope directly to your computer. If you have a computer, you're using a computer, that's really the best thing to do. Is it comes with that USB cord that you use that plugs into the wall that charges it. The same plug is what you use to plug into your computer. You can download the videos to your desktop, to your MacBook, whatever you're using. And that way you can share them. You can hear audio. You can email. You can do like I do and put them through a video editor, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But what I want to let you know is there is sometimes a converting issue, especially with MacBook. If you're using a MacBook, with the Pulsar and SiOnyx scopes, those videos come off in a .avi file, and you cannot view those as they are on a MacBook. Those have to be converted, and that's the biggest problem that a lot of people run into. Is they say, "Hey, I've got this on my computer, I can't see the video. It won't let me open it." On the MacBooks exclusively, you have to download, and there's plenty of free apps out there on MacBook if you go into the Apple Store. That you can find a video converter. Anyone will do. But what you need to do is you need to either download or convert that video from the .avi file to an MP4 or a .mov. That's the way that you can view it on your computer. That's the way that you can use it in editing software. If you want to share that with your friends, you'll be able to convert that file to something that's Apple friendly, and then send it on to if you want to text it, you can text it from your computer and that type of things. Now, what we found on the desktop, and Jason uses a desktop, I use a MacBook.
You mean a Windows?
Windows
PC?
Windows desktop.
Yeah, PC.
Yep, PC. So Jason, he gets the scopes, the videos right off the scope, and you're able to view them, right? You don't have to convert them right off the scope.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
And we just, look, Hans already said it, and it doesn't matter if you've got FLIR, Pulsar, or the SiteMark Photons. On any of these newer scopes that have internal video recording, all of those, you can hook a USB cable up directly to your computer, and you can download them straight there. And Hans just mentioned how you do it there. On a Mac, on a PC, it's basically the same way. Your computer will see that as an external drive, just like you plugged in an SD card from a camera or a little USB flash drive or an external hard drive. That's what it sees it as, especially, at least on a PC. And you just go in there, and I can't walk you through the exact steps for your computer, but you're basically going to go in there, view those files in that folder, and drag and drop them to your desktop, to a folder, wherever you want them. You do not have to convert the files. They will play directly right there on the computer.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to stress here is that this is something that, in my opinion, and I know we're going to have people say, "Oh no, I don't do it this way." It is so much easier to do this on the computer.
Yes, it is.
And I get a lot of phone calls from guys that are like, "Okay, I've got it on my phone, but I can't get the video, and I got it here, and now there's no audio, and I don't know what to do." And every time, I try to help, and I'm like, "Look, I gave up on my phone."
Yeah.
It's not the transferring. Again, this is only Pulsar and SiteMark. It's not even an option with FLIR because they don't have the app. Right. But the transfer from your phone or from the scope to the phone, to me, it's like dial-up internet. I can't stand it. And it starts going, and you're watching the little. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Hook this thing up to your computer. I guarantee you this. All right. I can go. Take my laptop, I can turn it on, I can take the scope, plug it in there, I can have every video off my scope and on to my computer and viewing them before you can transfer a 2-minute clip from that scope to your phone.
Yeah.
I guarantee it. It's just so much faster. And then when you get them on your computer, whether it's a Mac or whether it's a PC, they're just so much easier to work with.
Yeah.
And so I definitely just say to do that.
Right. And there has been some mention out there. We've been hearing some of it from time to time. I've experienced it a couple times, but sometimes that app can be a little spotty. It'll disconnect.
There's actually some news on that. I don't want to get into
Okay.
tonight. It would take too long, but yeah, there has been some issues with the app.
The app disconnects or drops from connection from the scope, so you have to reconnect it several times. But Jason's exactly right. The best thing to do is just to hook it up to your computer. Now, I will make sure that we clarify here. This is as far as the videos that you have to convert when you put on the computer on your MacBook or an Apple product. That is the Pulsar and the sight marks. Now, when you get the videos off of your MDVR or the FLIRs, they come off in a MP4. You don't have to convert those at all. So the converting process, I'm only talking about for Apple users that have an Apple computer and that have a sight mark or a Pulsar. I don't know why it comes off in a .avi file. Never heard of it before you trying to deal with the thermal scopes. But to be able to view it on your computer, you do have to convert it. You can get free software that converts that file for you and get it converted over to MP4 or .mov is what it's called. So that's important to know. FLIR and MDVR don't have to convert it. Pulsar sight mark, you do have to convert that file.
That's right. And you know, the thing is that there's a lot of people that are listening to this right now and their eyes just crossed and they say, I have no idea anything you just said. Yeah. AVI, MOV, MP4, yeah, what are we talking about? But what I would say to you is this is just what's required. Mm-hmm. This is the way that it is. And I know people say, well, my goodness, it's 2019. I shouldn't have to do this. Well, guess what? It's 2019 and you can record thermal video on your thermal scope and share it with the world. That's pretty amazing. It's just going to take a few steps to do it. Yeah. And it takes, honestly, no more work than if you took a video camera and recorded, or you took your standalone point and shoot camera and recorded video or took pictures on the SD card. Yeah. We have just gotten, I was just going to say one more thing. We've just gotten extremely spoiled to our smartphones doing so much. And so we think everything should be as easy as Apple and Android have made it on our smartphones. And you got to remember, you are not recording this video on your smartphone. You're recording it on an entirely different device and then trying to get it over there. And so there's just a lot going on. Yeah.
So for the people that are wanting to do this, and also let me make a suggestion here. When you record videos and you get those videos off of your scope and put them on your computer, the best thing to do is to reformat your scope and clear all those old videos out. Just trust me. Just clear all those old videos out, reformat it. Every time I shoot a video out in the field, I come home, get the video off my scope, put it on my computer, and immediately reformat the scopes. And what reformatting is basically erasing all the videos off of the internal memory card in there, so that way it's a full, it's got the full storage back. So reformat it. After every time you save those videos on your desktop, just go ahead and do that. I'm going to just throw that out as some advice.
And I just want to say something that's just a random thing that came into my head that's a question that I get asked a lot. And I know Ed mentioned this the other day in his Facebook message was, man, by the time I get these things to the computer and get them to Facebook, they look terrible. I'm recording this with a Pulsar Trail. It's a, the video should be good. What's wrong? And here's the thing to know. Every time, this is generally speaking, right. I know that this video editors are going to say this isn't always true, but generally speaking, every time you touch that video, meaning you move it from one device to another, or you convert it, you change the file type, you make it the file size smaller because it's, right. I don't know, maybe it's 500 megabytes and it's too big to send out. Every time you change it, then you are, it's called, it can be a lossy change, meaning you're losing part of that image quality. Mm-hmm. And so you've got to be very careful when you're doing this stuff if your long-term goal is to upload it to the internet. And we always say that the videos, even Hans videos, who this is what he does, by the time his video gets to YouTube, you're seeing, in my opinion, even like on the Pulsar trails, I think you're losing 25% of the image quality.
What happens is what you see through your scope in that video that you get off and put on your computer or you put on the app, it tends to be a shade or two darker than what you actually see in the scope. I don't know why it does it in the converting process or when it goes and comes off the scope and goes on the app, but it comes off a shade or two darker than what you actually see through the scope. And what we do when we do YouTube videos is we try to show the most real depiction of the unit as we can to make sure that image is reflected of what we actually see. But yes, it does. There is some loss in the video quality when you do take those videos off. Now, a lot of people ask if you're into social media and to YouTube. I use iMovie to do all my video editing. A lot of people ask me that, what software do I use for editing videos? I use iMovie just because it comes on the MacBooks, real simple, easy to use. But just for people wanting to share these with their buddies, really the best thing to circle back is just to put that back on your desktop, on your Windows unit, computer, or your MacBook. You'll be much happier with it. It'll be much easier to do. If you have any questions with it, you can definitely reach out to myself, as Jason said, the resident expert in creating videos, I guess, and I will accept that.
You just put yourself out there, man. Give them your home phone number. They'll start calling.
No, I get that question. Yeah, I get that question a lot. It's one of the most asked questions on these video things because a lot of people, like I said, they want to share them, not necessarily trying to create content on YouTube, but they just want to share them with their buddies, and they want to do so in the easiest and best way possible. That's do that.
I think. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Yeah, just put that on your computer, edit it, trim it down, because sometimes you may record 2 minutes of video, but it's just a 15-second shot and hog drop or coyote drop. Put that on your computer, trim out all the other excess video on the front end or on the back end that you don't need. That way, when you're sending that to your buddy, you're not having to send the huge file that it comes in or the whole file. You're only showing the condensed version of it. So trim it up. Then you'll be able to text it or you'll be able to email it, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, and I just would say, kind of wrapping this on my end, would be, in a nutshell, because again, I know there's a lot of guys that are going, trim, what am I going to trim? I don't know how to do all that. And I'm, in truth, it doesn't have to be extremely difficult just generally, whether you've got a Mac, whether you got a PC, no matter what brand of scope you've got, MDVR or whatever, what I would do is connect it to your computer, put the file there. If you have a Mac and you have to convert it, figure that out. Do as little as you have to. If you just want to send that to your buddies, at that point, it's probably easy to drop it in an email. If that file is too big, and a lot of times these files will be, and maybe you go, Hans is talking about trimming, making them smaller. I don't know how to do any of that. That's fine. Go open up something like a free Dropbox account, a Google Drive account, and those, almost everybody has, a Gmail account of some sort. Google Drive is a great option to go in there and share large files. And again, you can read about it. It's basically like a big, storage folder that's on the internet, and you can put it in there. You can send links. You can share it with people. It's a great way to do it. Yes, this is all going to be a little bit of work, but guess what? It's a lot of work to record, transfer, edit, upload video, and I know that a lot of people want it to be easier. And yes, if you can get them to your phone, sometimes you go, well, that's just easier. It's worth the wait, and that's fine too. I just know that once you get a phone involved, things slow down and you run into a lot more problems than you do if you hook it up to a computer. So you can do it whatever works best for you, but right now there's just really no easy solution in my opinion.
Yeah, so if you have any questions about this, we talked about a lot of technical things. It's not that difficult. Once you do it once, you'll know how to do it. Just email us a question. If you have something related specific to your setup, your scope, your computer, you can email us at thelatenightvisionshow gmail.com. Email us over. I'll email you back because I've been doing this a while. I know how to get all that stuff off pretty easy, and I've worked with all different types of computers and phones, so I'll be able to help you out. But we appreciate y'all listening this week or watching on YouTube. Like I said, please go check us out on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We're getting a lot of our views and listens on YouTube now. So it's a great thing for us. That's why we do the videos, and we do all the hard work to make sure that we can produce that for you. But we appreciate you watching. We appreciate you listening. We've got a busy few weeks coming up. Please stay tuned to us. We'll have breaking news. We'll have new products to show live from the SHOT Show. So check it out. Thank you for watching. We'll see y'all next week. Stay safe in the fields and keep making them bacon pancakes.